Okay, so we're going to start first taking a live poll. We would like to encourage everyone, please, to answer the questions. Just mainly, we just want to know if you're in the MENA region, North Africa, or Saudi Arabia, and if you're a undergrad, grad, or other, someone who's in their mid-career and is just interested. So I'm going to launch it now. You should be getting questions on the screen. I'm just going to give you like a minute. Wow, okay. Can't wait to share those numbers. Okay, we've got about 62 participants, so we're halfway. We just got a few more people to answer. Okay, so I'm going to end it now, and we will share the results. And so we have 88% from our audiences are from Saudi Arabia. We have also from the Middle East and North Africa. Hey, thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited for that. You will also get, if you need, I'll write afterwards my email address. So if you need to get in contact with the education advisor in your country, in your region, I'll be happy to help. 77% of our audiences are high school students. So yay, good job, high school students. We've got college level students, and we've got a couple of others. Wonderful. Okay, so let's start. So I'm going to start with a fun activity. Being a teacher, a previous teacher, of course, I have to start with a fun activity. And I'm sure the faculty members understand that. And so I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do this little activity on Padlet. All you need is your phone. You're going to scan the QR code, answer the question. You can write your name. You can make it anonymous. And it's just a way to start off our discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Sorry. Go. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to kind of like remove this. So, okay, so what film or TV show content has had the most significant impact on you personally, and why? Here's the QR code. All you have to do is just scan it. There will be a question, share something beautiful or like a statement, and just type in the name or the title of the movie or documentary or the TV show that you feel has an impact or it affected you in some way. You can say why if you feel comfortable. That'll be nice. You don't have to share your name. If you like to share your name, that'll be wonderful. Okay. Just admit more people. Amazing. Okay, so I think everyone has the QR code now scanned. Just gonna close this. So, okay, so I'm supposed to start seeing all your answers popping on the screen. Okay, so please don't feel shy. You just have to click on this plus sign. Oh, I can see people are typing. Okay. Vampire Diaries, because it was a where was it? Oh, comfort show to me, and I enjoyed it a lot. Guess what? It was my favorite too. College years. The Great Gatsby. I feel very relate to the character himself and the fun aspect of him. I also arrange parties as good as him. Wonderful. Faculty members, please don't be shy and share your favorite. I'm just going to share mine. Mine is A Walk to Remember. Why? It's just a good story. It makes me cry every time I watch it, even though I know what's going to happen. I hope. Lady Bird, because I could relate to the main character on such a deep level. Wonderful. We're going to talk about these connections. The Bold and Beautiful. Wow. The TV show really had an impact on me. It taught me a lot. Supportive families, wonderful. Always like to travel. I love sci-fi. Scary and wonderful. Talk to actually Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Of course, that's a classic. The summer, because it was, oh, the summer I turned pretty. That's actually my new go-to lately. Korean series. Nice. We're talking international now. Mental health. Yeah. Yes, a film would be a reflect and how it offer. I got Big Bang Theory. I like how a lot of people are using the word comfort, and we're going to talk about that with our guest speakers. Okay. Thank you, guys. This is so amazing. I can see there's still a lot of people writing. So when we start with the first question, I would like to encourage our guest speakers to first state their favorite TV show or film before you answer the first question. Okay, so let's start. So we're going to start first. The whole discussion panel is going to be divided into 3 parts. So we're going to start first with the first part, talking about what is the program, what is film and production program, what does that even mean? In that exercise, we saw a lot of people talking about their emotional and intellectual connections with different media. We do understand that there's a power in storytelling, but we're talking right now about people traveling to the US to study this, to actually go to a classroom and study this. So I'm going to start with Michigan State University. If you can tell us a little bit about what is film and production program. Just a quick reminder that we're trying to stay in 6 to 7 minutes tops in our answers, so everyone will get a chance. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Yeah, the question of favorites is always a difficult one for me. I would invite any students who would like to come to Michigan State to come to my office hours, and we can have a 45-minute discussion about it here in office hours. I can say the show that I'm watching right now that I'm really excited about is The Comeback with Lisa Kudrow, and partly because I didn't really, it wasn't on my radar when it came out, and I'm surprised at myself for not noticing it and not noticing how sort of ahead of its time it was in terms of that style of television programming. And also, I just wanted to add that I noticed some students who posted favorite films that have a connection to MSU. One of them being Top Gun, which was actually written not far from my office here by one of our professors in collaboration with one of our alumni. And actually, it came from their participation in the undergraduate flying club at the little local airport here, and they were in little propeller planes and imagined what it would be like to be in a faster one. Anyway. Just a fun fact. But let me talk a little bit about the program, and I will share my screen. Is that okay? Yeah. Sorry, you're muted.
Yes, of course, you're a co-host. Yes.
Oh, okay, great. So I will share what's going on. Sorry. Okay.
Yes,
So everyone, I'll play. It's working?
yes.
Great. So this is our film studies program here at Michigan State University. It is a combination of production, hands-on production and theory. The major is, and we are very engaged in talking around questions, expanding the canon of films that are taught at a university, and engaging, like I said in the introduction, with international students and their particular interests. We have very popular classes on, cinema history of the Middle East, for example, as well as a range of production classes that I'll talk about in a second. So the programs that we offer here is we have the BA in Film Studies, which is a combination of production and theory. We have a graduate certificate for PhD students. For those of you who are graduate students or interested in participating in a PhD program, any PhD program at Michigan State University, you can add the graduate certificate to your PhD study, to your major area of study, and we will then work with you on your dissertation. And we have multiple minors in different areas. We want our students to be able to create a kind of a curriculum that is best suited to their specific interests by combining a major with one or more of the minors. So we have a minor in fiction filmmaking, focused on fiction film production, and a minor in documentary production that we administer in collaboration with the College of Communication. Starting in the fall of 2024, it has just been approved. We have also a new minor in screenwriting, which, like I said, we have a long history of teaching screenwriting here at Michigan State University and wanted to formalize it. That was one of my actions as when I took over as director a couple of years ago here in the program. In addition to these programs, we also have a range of important community building activities on campus. Every minor and major in any of our programs participates in the film collective every Thursday evening. They have to do it once throughout their time here, but everybody is welcome at all times. Each semester, a different theme is picked by the member of our faculty who is running it that semester, and each week another member of the faculty presents a film in relation to that theme. These are just a few of the themes over the past couple of years that we've had. We also have an experimental and avant-garde program in collaboration with the Broad Museum, a Zaha Hadid building here on campus, and it's an amazing space to watch films, and they've been great collaborators with us. We are also very committed to study abroad in our program. MSU is one of the leaders nationally in study abroad participation. And we have a Film in Britain program, which has been around for 30 years or more, and a new Toronto International Film Festival program that I started with my colleague, where we take students in a bus to the festival because Toronto, one of the most influential festivals in the world, probably the most influential festival in North America for a certain type of film. It's only 5 hours away, so we all get in a bus. We drive there for a week, and they have an industry conference there as well, and students really enjoy participating in that. The courses and curriculum for the film studies major are actually quite complex and not able to really be discussed in a 6-minute presentation, but I would encourage you to go to the link on our website where there's a lot of information about the BA in film studies and the various ways you can kind of construct this BA to suit your particular interests. I want to highlight, this is a very popular program, the Fiction Filmmaking Minor. This is a program that is designed, you apply to the program in your sophomore year. So you would come into MSU and then take classes, all of our introductory classes. We have an introduction to analysis, Film 230, an introduction to production, Film 260. You take those, they unlock all of the advanced gateway courses in the curriculum. And then at the end of your sophomore year, if you're interested in fiction filmmaking, you would apply to this minor. Once you're accepted, you would take courses in directing, other aspects of production, as well as the capstone course, which is a year-long course that we offer in your final year here at MSU, where you create a fiction film from scratch, from a screenplay written by one of the students in our program, and the students get together and each one takes on a different role in the production of that film. This is the minor in screenwriting that we've just put together. We've added a special topics class last year where we can really target particular aspects of fiction writing for the screen, like serial screenwriting, television screenwriting, adaptation of IP, graphic novels, that kind of thing. As well as our introductory and advanced screenwriting courses, which focus on feature-length production of feature-length fiction screenplays. They have been there for many years, and we are excited to get this going. We have a lot of interest in screenwriting, and we look forward to growing this program along with that student interest. I know we wanted to talk a little bit about careers. I'm sure we'll all talk about this. These are just some of the areas that are we
Yeah, we're
still
gonna
on?
leave that for the third part if that's okay.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
they're
No,
asking for your email address if you're comfortable sharing that
yeah.
kindly, or the person that they can email in MSU. Just a quick reminder for our audiences that the major is the main program that you usually apply for, and the minor is the kind of like this secondary program. And we can talk about credits later when you talk with the advisors. There's going to be different amounts of credits that you take for a minor compared to your main major. In the US, we usually take a major and then a minor. And there's a lot of people that may major in something completely different and then minor in something related to film and production. So that's why you'll see some of the faculty members and guest speakers talking about minors compared to majors. There's also a special request for our guest speakers if they can talk a bit slow. I've seen that. And just so you know, for our future students, you'll get used to it once you're in that college classroom or university classroom. Thank you so much, Kiva. I'm gonna go on with Temple University. We can talk to us a little bit about what is film and production program.
Sure. Let me go ahead and start. I want to give an overview of our curriculum, and then, at later points, Josette can talk about careers, and Kartik and I can talk about, kind of events that we do for our students. We have a pretty big program, and I want to just maybe share a slide of our, if I can,
Yes.
of our programs. We have a lot of undergraduate programs. Most of our majors focus on film production. Some are interested, like in Michigan State, have film studies and other kinds of studies programs. But we have a number of paths. Our perhaps most popular path are people who want to learn valuable skills in editing, post-production, various components of film craft, right? And we believe in combining hands-on technology, but also
I'm sorry, Chris, you're a co-host now. Very sorry, I just realized that.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, take a minute so we can share your.
Yeah, it's not working over here. So I can talk, so we have this general Bachelor of Arts program. You can combine whichever courses will meet your goals to learn the craft and the art of filmmaking, media making. We have an emphasis on creativity, individual voice, independent voice, storytelling, documentary as well. Some want a bit more focus, though. Like I say, some people like to combine different skills, different focuses to build up their career resume. Some really want to be a cinematographer, or they want to be an editor, or they want to be a director, and we have paths for them too. So if you want to go into cinematography or post-production, we have a BA concentration, which is a little bit more robust. You have a sequence of classes. You really work to develop your craft at a high level. Like I say, the theory is important too, but we really do believe in teaching industrial skills and teaching a high level of film craft and media making craft. And we also have Bachelor of Fine Arts for those who have the most dedicated focus on writing, directing, or just screenwriting. So we have Bachelor of Fine Arts in directing. So at the end of your 4 years, you do a thesis, undergraduate thesis film that you write yourself, and you shoot in collaboration with the other majors in the program, cinematographers, editors, producers, right? And if you're interested in screenwriting, you write either a feature screenplay or a kind of pilot and storybook for a serial narrative, a television narrative. And we also have documentary and animation if you're interested in other kinds of non-traditional, forms, right? So that's our undergraduate production tracks, and we have about 600 undergraduate majors. We're a very diverse department, both locally, internationally, nationally, and Josette and Kartik can talk more about that. We also have a robust graduate program, an MFA, which is international in scope. We get Fulbright scholars, we get international scholars on fellowship, and other international scholars who want to come, as well as people from the US around the country. And it's really focused on independent, independent directing, independent art making with media, right? People do documentary, they do installation work. It's really appropriate if you want to make a festival quality film and enter that sort of festival world after, if you're interested in making that kind of cinema. For those who've already done their college work and really want to.
Hello. Can you kindly please stay on mute? Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to, kind of enter that sort of festival filmmaking style and kind of, get your films out internationally at that level, then the Master of Fine Arts is great. If you're interested particularly in documentary, we do have a PhD. It's a very specific kind of theory practice PhD. I could talk a bit more if anyone specific is interested in that. So that's an overview. I think I've run out of time, but I just want to
Thank you. You talked about cinematography, and it's very interesting because just today we had a guest speaker from the United States and the U.S. consulate who we took to one of our universities here, EdUSA University. His name is James Niehaus. He's a very famous cinematographer who's done many documentaries and movies, and it's one of the things that students spoke about is that a lot of people get confused between filmmaking, production, and then actually cinematography as a career. So thank you for talking about that and how that is part of the program.
And if I could just add quickly, we do both celluloid and video. We do 35 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and we do, digital video, high-end digital video. So you can train different kinds of cameras if you come here.
Wonderful, thank you. Hey, moving on to University of Denver. What is film and production? Thank you, Fatima. For any questions, you can please write in the chat and we can answer you.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. And as I am doing this, I'm going to share my best movie, English movie, I would say Forrest Gump. And the reason that is so because it just inspires me. It's very heartwarming. It makes me cry. Yes, every time I watch it, I cry. And it just makes me feel that, you can make it, you can be victorious and stay true to yourself and be kind. So that's that. So media, film, and journalism department. Essentially, we have 4 different majors in that department. I already introduced myself, so I'm not going to go over that. We have 4 different majors. We have the film studies and production. We have journalism studies, which is basically multimedia journalism. We have strategic communication, and we have the media studies major, and then we have a minor as well. I'm not going to get too much into the grad program, but if you want, just let me know. There is 2 programs, essentially, media and public communication and international and intercultural communication. Those are the 2 tracks or 2 master's program in the department. So essentially, yes, there are 4 different majors, but the core that we're dealing with here across the department is essentially storytelling. Whether you are going stratcom, you're going film, you're going journalism, because a lot of people tend to think of journalism as print, which is not necessarily the case. We actually have students in the journalism track producing documentaries that gets airing on PBS and gets, posted on their websites, etc., as part of the capstone project that we're going to be going over in a second. But beyond storytelling, we delve into multiple things. The multicultural component, there is a social justice underpinning that is across all the different departments. And one of the things that we pride ourselves with as a department is that we are committed to the theory practice nexus. What does that mean? It means that we get to learn the ropes. We get to learn, the academic components of things, be it film, be it journalism, but we apply that no matter what your major is. We also, those are just a bunch of the specializations that our faculty are having under their belt. One of the good things about the University of Denver, which is, by the way, in Denver, in Colorado, so a bit, in the middle US, toward a little bit towards the west, it's by the Rocky Mountains. It's a beautiful place. You have the mountains, you essentially. But one of the things that are really cool about the University of Denver is that it is a mid-sized university. We have 12,000 grad and undergraduate students in total, but the ratio, that means that there are small classes. So the ratio is essentially 11 students to 1 faculty. And then you basically come in, you get an MFJS advisor. MFJS is the acronym for Media, Film, and Journalism Studies. One of the cool things is essentially the student media platform. So DU Clarion, for example, is the newspaper. DU Film, we essentially have filmmakers in the department who are creating their own films, and students get to work on those films as crew members, depending on what exactly they want to be learning. If they want to be more into cinematography, they take a class in cinematography anyways, and then they apply that in actual films and they get credits for. There's also the Rocky Mountain Reverb, which is our podcasting hub. There's the DU Media student media platform, which I touched on earlier, that students essentially go there, pitch stories, get access to equipment, and go out there and get support to produce their media. And they get to run in student media competition. So as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who are coming late, we have 4 regional Emmy student nominations. So we're waiting on Saturday for the ceremony to see, you know, who wins the Emmy, which we've won in the past in the category of short film last year. Beyond that, we have what we call the tech shop. The tech shop essentially it is like a candy shop, but for equipment, I would say. So we have in there the drones, we have in there film production, high-end film production gear. Every student in the department has access to the full Adobe Creative Suite, be it Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Photoshop, etc. And you get the training to work on those things as well. As I mentioned before, the theory practice nexus, this is one of our very recent events. We are hosting a Woolzian professor, which is an annual position where we get somebody from the industry to teach classes. So here, this is Peter Lauer, who is the director or one of the directors of Emily in Paris, and another Hollywood producer who's a graduate of our university as well. So again, the theory practice nexus is very much in full view, meaning that we always are connecting students to how to apply things, be it again film, journalism, etc. We have an internship that is already a requirement in the curriculum, despite what major you tap into. Those are just some of the recent internships, some of the places. We actually have students more and more recently. We're having students who graduate from the film program in particular that go to create and start their own film production and media production companies, which is something pretty cool that I've been seeing as a trend over the past few years as well. And obviously we have folks who go to Hollywood or folks who are international students. Like I mentioned, Wahab Al-Amri, one of my favorite students ever, to be honest. He's Saudi and he's now back in Saudi creating amazing stuff and winning awards in Saudi as well. I think we're pretty much out of time. So this is the email of the undergraduate director, Lauren D. Carvalho. And then I put my email in the chat as well. If you want to reach out to me, reach out to Lauren. We will be more than happy to chat. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kareem. I just would like to remind our audiences to kindly, respectfully keep your microphones on mute, turn off your cameras, as we would like the rest of our audiences to sit back and relax and try and imagine themselves in such programs. I can see a lot of questions related to what do I need to do to apply? How much does it cost? Again, I'd like to remind you that you can email me at edujeddah@state.gov. Also, the international admissions officers that are with us can retype their email addresses because we have a lot of audiences that are joining now as well. And again, these institutes are in the United States. So anything related to other countries or in Saudi Arabia, currently we're not discussing. So we're just discussing institutes that are in the United States. Moving on, we would like to talk. So let me just make sure. Yes, okay. So we're going to go to part 2. Because of the time, I'm just going to make part 2 really short, and it's more of like the syllabus. So we would like our guest speakers to talk more about the type of classes that our students taking, along with what does the career path look like. So I'm going to kind of like combine these two together. What are the classes that what are the classes that students take when they major in, whether for undergrad or grad, when they major in film and production at your school? Also, what does the career path look like? I know some of you already started talking about what students already accomplished. If you want to elaborate on that. And also, if there's any internships that is part of your program. And we also do understand that sometimes, and not sometimes, but always students think of university and colleges as more of like books and desks, and forget that we have to combine the theoretical part as well as the hands-on work. And so if you can talk a little bit about that. So I'm going to start with Michigan State University.
Great, thank you so much. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I started talking about this a little in the previous section. We've gone over aspects of our curriculum, and I think the major and the key minors that that most of the students on this call would be interested in doing. I mean, I know this session is being recorded, and I know I went through that material relatively quickly, but because it's being recorded, it's relatively easy to scroll back and take a look at the curriculum for those courses. I mean, I just one of the things I wanted to add about the careers, the career paths that our students go on. I mean, there is a wide range, and we want to make sure that that we work with our students. I mean, we have very talented advisors and a very strong like internship program in our college, and we're very focused on sort of placement in local industries and in industries in media production cities around this country and abroad. We send a lot of our students to media production centers in Los Angeles and New York, Atlanta after they graduate. There's a very strong alumni network in each of those cities, and those alums, we continually bring them back to our program to talk to our current students, and they host events often at their homes. Bill and Carol Mechanic are two of our alums and supporters of the program. Bill Mechanic was he ran Paramount production for many years, and Carol ran HBO for many years, and they host our students regularly and participate in mentoring activities, as well as many others. That's just one example. So we have students in all aspects of the industry. We have a couple of students working at Marvel Studios currently, students at Paramount, students at other industries, in other companies. And we also have students go into a range of museum-related careers, curation, working for film festivals, the Toronto Film Festival, the Ann Arbor Film Festival, which is a major film festival of experimental film. So, we're happy to talk about that. That is a really good question for if you have more questions about that. You can email me, but you can also email our advisors. I put one of those emails in the chat, and I showed a slide of it. And then one of the things I would just want to add to this, I mean, we could go on about these different sort of career opportunities, and I think, it's most important to talk about those individually with students and to think about what are your goals, and that's what we do in advising. But there's also a lot of material on our website. If you are interested, if you're let's say you're struggling convincing your parents that a career in the arts or a degree in the humanities is a good idea for you, there is a lot of research that you can access on our website that indicates that, in fact, the ability to find jobs is just as strong for arts and humanities graduates. And over the course of one's career, average salaries are comparable in the humanities just to other majors, including psychology and the natural sciences and other STEM fields. So if you're very passionate about film and you want to have a complicated conversation with your parents, I mean, I would say use some of that material, use those resources on our website to help your family make that decision.
I like that. Okay, so we're going to move on to Temple University. If you can talk to us a little bit about your program and career path and any stories you'd like to share with us with your international
Sure.
students.
Okay, I'll talk very briefly about our program, then turn over the floor to Josette and Kartik to continue. But most people seem to be at the sort of interest in undergraduate programs. I just want to talk briefly about how you would experience our program. The first year, you would have foundation classes to learn the cameras, learn basic editing software if you haven't done this already. Some people already have, and that's great. And learn the conceptual part of filmmaking. What are the aspects of art? What are the aspects of framing? You know, how the sound choices, those kinds of kind of thinking about film and TV as an art. Sophomore year, second year, you go to intermediate level classes, screenwriting, editing, filmmaking, videography, film history, right? These will prepare you to do all of your upper level work. And from there on, you specialize. If you're interested in doing a post-production track, you focus a lot on editing, on sound, on color correction. If you're interested in screenwriting, you develop serial writing, you develop a longer screenplay form. So, you know, your last 2 years will depend upon what your emphasis is. And so there's a structure, but also a flexibility. So I'll just kind of pass over the mic a little bit now. Josette, would you like to talk a bit about career paths?
You're muted.
Thank you. So what types of career paths do graduates from our program typically pursue? Career paths are as varied as the many jobs within the film industry. Students, as Chris was saying, students can train through our program to become editors and directors, screenwriters, cinematographers, producers, and to that end, many alums of our program go into these fields. Sometimes they are working as independent filmmakers, and sometimes they are working within the mainstream industry in more traditional roles. But our students are trained to adapt to the demands of what we know is a quickly changing industry. And they emerge with a very well-rounded foundation so that they can become creative leaders. The internship opportunities can be secured in various ways after their second year of study, and they're often in conjunction with college credit. We have a student success center specific to the arts, so specific to the students of the Center for Creative and Performing Arts, of which the film school is part of. And the center helps students secure meaningful internships specific to what they want to do. So students are very involved in identifying those internships while the center helps them attain those internships. Additionally, we're very well respected in nationally, but also our film industry in Philadelphia is robust. So, for instance, the Greater Philadelphia Film Office that manages the many film productions that come through Philadelphia are in contact with our department to offer students opportunities to work as production assistants in different capacities on live film sets, things being shot in the Philadelphia area. We also have an LA Study Away program, allowing students to develop significant industry experience on the West Coast with a cohort of peers from Temple. And frankly, the program is quite popular. We often attract students from other universities in the Philadelphia area. So it's a nice opportunity to engage with Temple University students away in LA, build a network on the West Coast, and also sometimes meet students from Syracuse or Drexel University and other places that are attracted to our LA Study Away program. The program is open for students after their second year of study and consists of a daytime internship, which again, they are helping to identify. So they're picking something that really satisfies their career path. And then they take classes in the evening. We have about 2,000 alum on the ground in LA, as well as faculty and staff. Graduates of our program work all over. I mean, they work locally. Philadelphia is a cultural hub on the East Coast and only about 90 minutes from New York City, where many of our alum also settle. And then, of course, students work on the West Coast, and many of our students kind of develop both the East and West Coast network because they want to keep their options open and maybe work in LA for a year and then move to New York or et cetera. So they're working all over. I can, an example of a successful alumni, there's so many, but Billy Goldenberg pops into my mind. He graduated from our program, became an Academy Award-winning editor working on films like Argo. He is now Ben Affleck's editor. He's more recently worked on Transformers, I think 2023, Rise of the Beast, and then Ben Affleck's film Air. Billy returns. I mean, he's a good example because not only is he highly successful, but he also gives back to our program quite regularly. He returns to Temple to give master classes. He visits with our LA students to discuss his plan or his path to success, share industry kind of inside information. I also want to mention that there are thousands of our students working all over the world. We talk about East and West Coast, but really all over. Some are teaching film at the college level. Some are working at film festivals. Their work is being shown in museums. They're working at international film festivals, producing, editing, and shooting videos for organizations like, for instance, someone just contacted me and they're working for Major League Baseball because we know film is a powerful form of communication and its applications are boundless. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I like how you started talking about the East and West Coast, because as soon as we say film and production, everyone immediately think of Hollywood, and that's the only place we can learn. However, through the many institutes in the US like yours, students still get to combine the theoretical and then the application of it and still can, expand for their internship. So thank you so much. And moving on to University of Denver.
All right. So basically, once you enter the program, let's say you go into the film route, the very first year, you're learning the ropes when it comes to intro to filmmaking, how to use cameras, how to do editing, how to do production exercises. There's also a class that has to be taken in that major, which is script writing. So you basically get to learn different ways of writing scripts, the 3-act structure, etc. And then from there are capstone projects. Those capstone projects, basically, to explain it further, it is an advanced class. So it's for seniors mainly. So there is the narrative route. Narrative route means you create films that are narrative, that are fictional. And then there's the documentary route where you create documentary films. I'll tell you, the industry is changing as we speak. So essentially, storytelling is at the core of everything that is media related, whether this is at our department or elsewhere. That means that people who would be studying film, for example, can end up working in the advertising industry, creating commercials and editing, Nike advertisements, etc. So we've had that. We've had folks who go out to be independent filmmakers. We've had folks who go to the traditional route of going to, LA or New York. And even now there are film hubs across like New Orleans. There are other areas, Atlanta, Georgia, for example. So there are major film hubs that are emerging over the past years. So we have folks that go down that route. We have folks that create their own media production companies that would be doing both film and other things. We have folks who go to Universal Studios. We have folks that go to CNN, Ellen DeGeneres, Tonight Show, etc. So what I'm trying to tell you is that the media industry is not one path. Yes, storytelling is at the core, but you can take it to spring and go out in many different directions.
Wonderful, thank you. And I would also like to add that, please feel free to step in, Dr. Karim, regarding background and culture. And I feel they play a huge role in storytelling and in film. And when we have international students like Saudis who are already paving the way through the Red Sea Film Festival and through the many productions that they have that are now airing on Netflix. And that's so amazing because they add their own touch. And that is something I think they bring on and they add to whatever program they're going to apply to.
Absolutely. Again, I've mentioned Wahab Al-Amri 2 times now. This is the third time since you mentioned the Red Sea Festival, which he won an award there. We're super proud of him. And I guess, if there's one thing I want to tell you guys, your voice needs to be heard. So media companies, film production, streaming platforms like Netflix are already hungry for content that has a different cultural lens. So you coming from the Arab world, coming with a fresh perspective on things that people might not be thinking of, this is needed. I don't know if any of you watched the show Rami a few years ago. This is an Egyptian American who created a show and went on to win Emmy Awards and win Best Actor, etc. And now he's a big shot and was just hosting SNL a couple of weeks ago. So you have fresh perspective, you have a voice that ought to be heard, and people want to be hearing it in your artistic endeavors.
Thank you. Okay, before we move on to questions, because we have limited time here, I just want to ask, just said, do we have Azam with us? Because there's so many people in the meeting, in the room, and so I just want to make sure.
No, I'm not sure. I
Okay.
did not hear back.
Okay, so while we're taking questions, Azam, if you're with us, she's an international student at Temple University, just kindly just message me and we'll make you a co-host immediately, or just unmute your microphone. Oh, okay, so Nizar, I don't think that's the same person. Okay, so before we start asking questions, kindly, please, I'm going to say that in English, I'm going to say that also in Arabic. Any questions related to what do I need, how can I start my application? What are the deadlines or due dates? Anything related to scholarships? Please do email those questions to either the admission officers that we have with us, or you can email me at edujidda@state.gov, because it's easier for us to assist you when we know you as an individual to be able to help you. Right now, if you have any general question about the program itself, you may ask in the chat, please. I don't think we'll use the microphone at this point. Kindly, if you can type in the chat, whether in English or in Arabic, that's okay. رح أحكي شوي بالعربي لحضورنا الكرام. إذا أمكن بليز إنه أي سؤال بخص عن طريقة التقديم أو التاريخ للتقديم، أو حتى أي شيء بخصوص المنح الدراسية أو منحة الابتعاث السعودية، أرجو إرسال إيميل على edujidda@state.gov، أو أحد من حضورنا الكرام اللي موجودين معانا ضيوفنا شاركوا إيميلاتهم، إذا أمكن تاخذوا الإيميلات وترسلوا لهم. معلش احنا الان عشان الوقت ضيق، اي سؤال بالعربي او بالانجليزي ممكن تكتبوه في الشات، مو مشكله، لكن الان ما حنخلي اي احد يتكلم او يعمل انميوت خلال المحاضره. شكرا لكم. Okay, so I do have one question here. There was a question related. Okay, is it possible to major? So we did not specify a university, so anyone feel comfortable just to unmute yourself. Is it possible to major in sound engineering regarding media? So I'm assuming something related in film and production. There's a lot of students talking about major and minor. So anyone would like to jump in and answer, please feel free. It can be more than one answer.
I can just answer briefly for Temple. We have a path for people who want to do sound design and cinema. It's not a very in-depth sound technology major. We do have that in our communications school, but not in our college. But we do, there are resources around if you want to study that and to integrate that into your study of film sound.
Okay, thank you. There was another question about.
I'll just that we also have Boyer College of Music and Dance, and in that program, in the music program, you can also major in film scoring and music technology. So we have had students work across the different colleges to create that particular major.
Wonderful. Yes.
And I would maybe just add, and I think this applies not just to my institution, but to many for students who are unsure about how the process of majoring and minoring works. I mean, even if you are a major within a film production, fiction filmmaking curriculum, you can specialize in sound engineering. Like in a capstone course, you can be the sound person for the capstone project, and that will set you up for a career after you leave the university in that domain. So there is a lot of flexibility, even if you're not majoring in a specific subfield of production, to specialize in that within a given major and continue that on professionally when you leave.
Thank you. So someone asked, if I study abroad, will there be a job opportunities for you in Saudi Arabia? I think with the many examples that our guests have provided, as an international student, and if you want to come back in Saudi Arabia, University of Denver gave us a wonderful example of one of their alums who's Saudi and came back and is working with the creative community. And as Education USA working in the US consulate, anyone who is a US alum will be happy to help you make more networks. So I think I answered that. The other question is, what can one do in high school to prepare for a university and to enter a program in film? So I'm just going to start with the University of Denver. Do they require any portfolio?
No, but definitely creating something on your own is going to go a long way, as going to distinguish you from all the rest. In other words, take that extra step. You have your phone. Our phones are, I usually call them beasts in our hands, right? I wish I had access to that when I was in high school. I still created films with my colleagues in Cairo, Egypt, and we were doing things in school, right? But we didn't have that quality, right? So create your own stuff. If you have an idea, put it on paper and go out there and shoot it. This is definitely going to distinguish you from the rest. And once you enter college and you're studying this, you're going to see how much difference that made in high school.
Wonderful. Thank you. I'm going to go on to Temple University.
We do not require any portfolio. We have students who have really strong preparation coming in and some who've never touched a camera. I mean, that's both great for us. We love either one, right? One thing I'm just going to go a little offbeat and suggest, rather than focusing on film in high school, to learn broadly, think broadly, study art, history, philosophy, the things that will enrich your storytelling and your filmmaking and give you more inspiration. And I think that just prepares you for college in general. So.
Wonderful. Thank you. Michigan State University.
We also don't require a portfolio and encourage students, we want our students to be engaged and to be intellectually curious, and that can take many forms. We do require a portfolio for the application to the fiction filmmaking minor, but that happens like I said, at the end of your second year. So you have 2 years of film education here at the university before you put that together. Okay,
thank you. Okay. Someone asked, does music can be with this program? Oh, okay. Can someone minor in music or be part of this program? Let's start with Dr. Kareem.
So in our department, we don't necessarily have that, but we have the Lamont School of Music. So at University of Denver, when you're having a major, which is basically التخصص, your area of specialization. So that is worth 40 credit hours. However, for you to graduate, you need actually 183 credits. What that means, you have an opportunity to actually explore other majors. So let's say somebody's interested in music, they can actually be double major, having a major in music and having a major in media production. One of my good students as well, she was majoring in jazz music and multimedia production and went on to work for NBC, right? So you can connect things. I understand that this might be hard to fathom because as somebody who studied in the Arab world, I only studied media and I didn't do anything but the media throughout my 4 years of study, nothing outside of my college, right? But here it's a different process. It's a different environment and you get to get things and connect them together in ways you wouldn't even think of. So yes, you can actually major in music and connect that to music. And as you proceed in both majors, make that work.
Wonderful. Okay. Gisette, would you like to add anything to music?
Sure. Our process is very similar. So many students will major in film, for instance, and then minor in any one of the 60 some majors available or minors available on the college campus. And there's more than 62 minors, to be honest with you. And they can also earn certificates. So if they do want some specialization, they can also do that. Yes, very similar.
Hey, Kiva.
We love when the music students work with our film students and compose scores for the films. That happens quite a bit in our courses and in our film clubs. And there are a number of film clubs that produce films extracurricularly.
Thank you. Okay, there were a lot of questions related to GPA and what does a high school student need to, earn. These are the type of questions that you can email me at edujeddah@state.gov, as well as just for the one last time, kindly for our guest speakers, if you can add your email addresses. If anyone wants to ask any questions in Arabic, please feel free to email me again at edujeddah@state.gov. Right now, I'm going to have to wrap it up. Thank you so much. I just want to say that we've been doing these virtual events of discussion panels for a couple of months now. For this program, we have the highest number of attendees. I've been typing the whole hour. So this shows how much our students are really interested in film and production. And thank you so much. Thank you everyone for attending, and thank you for our guests.
Thank you. Have a good one.